Hello students and a very good morning to you. Students, as we are discussing chapter 5 of class 8 science, that is combustion and flame, and this is the second part of this chapter. In first part of this chapter we have discussed about combustion, conditions required for this process, its type and flame. Now in this part we will be discussing about fire extinguisher, fuels and its different kinds, their efficiencies and burning of fuels. So let's start with the first topic of this part, that is fuel. So what are fuels? Fuels are the substances that burn. They burn in the presence of oxygen and they produce heat and light energy. Means fuels are those combustible substances that burn in presence of oxygen and produce a sufficient amount of heat and light energy. It means that all fuels are combustible substances because they burn in the presence of oxygen. But students, we cannot say that all combustible substances are fuels. Why? Because fuels are the substances, when they burn, they produce sufficient amount of heat and light energy, and these forms of energies can be utilized by us in many ways. Okay, so fuels are the combustible substances because they are undergoing combustion in the presence of oxygen, they are burning and they are producing heat and light. But all combustible substances, they do not produce sufficient amount of heat and light that can be utilized by us. That is why all combustible substances are not fuels, but yes, all fuels are combustible substances. So fuels, they are used for different purposes, as they are used in the process of cooking or in automobiles or to generate electricity. And some of the common examples of fuels are wood. As we know, this is very common fuel. So wood, coal, kerosene, petrol, diesel, LPG, CNG, these are the commonly used fuels. Now, on the basis of their physical state, fuels have been divided into three categories: solid fuels, liquid fuels, and gaseous fuels. So, what are solid fuels? Solid fuels are the fuels that are found as solids at room temperature, as for example, wood, charcoal, coal, coke, cow dung cake. These are solid at room temperature, so these are the examples of solid fuels. Now next, liquid fuels. So liquid fuels are the fuels which are found in liquid state at room temperature. So these fuels which are found as liquid or that exist as liquid at room temperature, such fuels are called liquid fuels. As for example, kerosene, this is very common liquid fuel. Kerosene, petrol, diesel, fuel oil, alcohol, benzene, these are the liquid. Now next type of fuel is gaseous fuel. So the fuels which found in gaseous form at room temperature, such fuels are called gaseous fuels. As for example, biogas, natural gas, petroleum gas, etc. These are the examples of gaseous fuels. Now next topic is calorific value of a fuel. We know, students, that all combustible substances, they cannot be considered as fuels because they cannot be used as fuels. All combustible substances are not fuels because they do not, all combustible substances, they do not produce a lot of heat and light energy. And all fuels cannot be used for all applications also, because different fuels, they produce different amount of heat and light energy on burning. So the amount of heat energy released by unit quantity of a fuel on complete combustion in the presence of oxygen means, suppose we are taking any unit quantity of a fuel, suppose we are taking 1 kg of any fuel and we are burning it in the presence of oxygen. So it will produce some amount of heat energy, and that amount of heat energy which is released by burning that fuel, that 1 kg of the fuel, in the presence of oxygen, this amount of heat energy is called calorific value of that particular fuel. Now, calorific value is expressed in kilojoules per kilogram or kilocalorie per kilogram. These are the units of calorific value. Now, here you can see some examples of fuels as well as their calorific value is given in kilojoule per gram. So here you can see the highest calorific value is of hydrogen gas. It is 141.9 kilojoule per gram. So that is why hydrogen is the best fuel. It is considered as the best fuel because it is having highest calorific value, but it is very difficult to handle and it is very difficult to produce also. That is why liquid hydrogen, it is not generally used as fuels, and that liquid hydrogen gas, liquid hydrogen fuel, it is used in spacecraft. Okay. Now, characteristics of a good fuel. What are the characteristics of a good fuel? So it should be cheap and easily available, means it should not be so expensive. If the fuel is very expensive, then it will not be so good for us. So fuel should be cheap and easily available. It should have very high calorific value, means its efficiency should be very high. Then it should neither burn too fast nor too slow. Its ignition temperature should be fairly low so that it can be burnt easily, means that ignition temperature should not be very high and should not be very low also. Then it should not produce soot or harmful gas or any other residue, and it should be safe to handle, store and transport. Now, next topic of this chapter is harmful effects of burning of fuels. Means what are the harmful products formed or produced when the fuels are burnt, and what are their harmful effects. So when fuels like coal, wood or petroleum, they are burnt, they produce or they release unburnt carbon particles in the environment, and these fine particles, they cause respiratory problems like asthma. Then if they are burnt in insufficient supply of oxygen, then they produce carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide is very poisonous gas. It can replace oxygen from the blood and person can lose consciousness, person can suffocate, and if the person is exposed to the carbon monoxide for long time, for long duration, it can kill the person also. So this gas is very harmful, it is very poisonous. One more thing, for making fuels as wood, that wood is procured from the trees. So excessive cutting of trees leads to deforestation also, and it can harm the environment as well. Now next thing, incomplete combustion of petrol, kerosene and diesel, they produce poisonous gases and soot, and it also pollute the environment. Then next, complete combustion of most of the fuels, they release carbon dioxide, which is responsible for global warming. As you know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, and it is leading, or it is increasing the global temperature, and that is why it leads to many problems as the melting of glaciers and rise in the sea level, and it causes flood in the coastal areas. Next, fuels like coal and diesel, they have sulfur, which on combustion, means which on burning, they form sulfur dioxide, which pollute the atmosphere, it pollute the environment. Now, incomplete combustion of petrol form oxides of nitrogen and carbon, which pollute the atmosphere. And when these gases, means the oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, they dissolve in rainwater, they mix with rainwater, they dissolve in rainwater, and they form acid rain. And such type of rain, that acid rain, is very harmful for crops, for soil, for buildings, for monuments, etc. So these are the harmful effects of burning of fuels. Now, principles of extinguishing fire. Now, students, when we were studying about the conditions required for the process of combustion, then we have seen that three important things are there for the process of combustion, that is the presence of combustible substances, supporter, that is oxygen, is also very important, and the attainment of ignition temperature or kindling temperature is also very important condition for the process of combustion. Now, the fire may be extinguished by when these three conditions are removed. Means, first of all, either removal of all the combustible substances from the site of fire, which is not at all possible. This is not practically good, because at the site of fire it is not possible to remove the combustible substances. Then second one, the cutting off the supply of supporter of combustion, that is oxygen. And third, bringing down the temperature of the burning substances below their ignition temperature. So you know that practically the first principle, that is the first condition, the removal of all combustible substances from the site of fire, is not at all possible. So fire extinguishers are based on the principle of either bringing down the temperature of substance, combustible substance, below ignition temperature, or cutting the supply of oxygen, or both. Now, various type of fire extinguishers are used to put off fire depending upon the nature of fire. So here we have to study about two fire extinguishers. First one is water as fire extinguisher. So we know water is the most common fire extinguisher, which cools the combustible substance and it brings down the temperature of the combustible substance below its ignition temperature. So water vapor, it also, when we sprinkle water or when we throw water on that combustible substance which is burning, so water, because of the heat of the fire, water converted into water vapor and it surrounds the combustible substance, and so that it cut off the supply of air. Okay, and when the supply of air, means supply of oxygen, is cut, then it will, the combustible substance, the flame or the fire will not get the oxygen, so the fire is put off. Now, water is used for the fire caused by combustion of paper and wood, and it cannot be used to extinguish fire caused by burning of oil, petroleum, or fire caused by electrical equipments or electrical wires, because you know water is good conductor of electricity, so it may cause electrocution. Next, carbon dioxide as fire extinguisher. So carbon dioxide is used to extinguish fire caused by burning of inflammable liquids like petrol, oil, or by short circuit, means the fire caused by electrical equipment, means fire caused by electricity also. For these fires, carbon dioxide can be used as fire extinguisher. What happens in the case of carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. So when it is sprinkled from the from the cylinder of the carbon dioxide, then it covers the it covers the combustible substances like a blanket, and it also cut off the supply of oxygen. So as the contact between the fuel and the oxygen is cut off, the fire is controlled. Okay, and you know that carbon dioxide, it is as you can see in this image, carbon dioxide is stored in liquid form at high temperature in cylinders, and when it released, then at the site of fire, then it comes out in vapor form, and it expands in volume and it cools down. So it completely covers the combustible substance. It makes a blanket like structure over the combustible substance and remove the contact of or cut off the supply of oxygen from the combustible substance, and then the fire is extinguishes. Okay, now some chemicals are also there as sodium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate. So they are also used as fire extinguisher. Why? Because when they are heated, they give off carbon dioxide. They produce carbon dioxide. So when the dry and powdered form of sodium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate, they are used in good amount, not in very small amount. They are used in good amount near the fire, then they heat up and they produce carbon dioxide. And when carbon dioxide is produced, then carbon dioxide worked in the same way as it works in the cylinder. It comes out, it covers the combustible substance, it covers it like a blanket, cut off the supply of oxygen, and the fire is extinguished. Now this is all about your chapter. Now the chapter is completed. Thank you, students.